Hey, how's it going? I want to welcome you to the first edition episode of a Last in Line project that I like to call A.I.M High. I'm big into acronyms, big into analogies. So the A.I.M is A.I.M, stands for attitude, intent, and motivation. So I think it's no surprise to everybody that the world we live in, we really are a product of our environments, which are driven a lot by our attitude, a lot by how intentional we are. Relationships, finances, physical bodies, spiritual condition, and our motivation. What's driving that? What's the reason for our purpose? So I really want to kind of frame this in a general sense right now because we're going to dive deep into it probably every week. um, the design for this and the intention for this is to maybe have somebody on to get their feedback, get their perspective on this particular topic. But weekly, I'm just going to come on and probably just give some insight that I have, share experiences that I've had, ways I've done things, ways I wish I would have done things. But the attitude really is what drives a lot of our thoughts, our words, our actions, and impacts people. Um, a guy I used to coach baseball with, like we would always preach, attitude and effort are the two things we can control in a competition. We can't control external factors, even our teammates. So we need to stick with what we can control and keep the main thing the main thing. Um, I will use probably a lot of corny phrases, maybe acronyms. That's just kind of how I roll. But to start off, I just kind of want to address attitude from a 20,000 foot view, general sense. So everybody, it's self-explanatory. It's straightforward. So your attitude is crucial. It's huge. It can be driven by a number of factors, but I think it starts from inside. It starts with a heart condition. It starts with who you plan to influence. And I've talked about it before. I've talked about it in my book, Last in Line Leadership. Everybody has influence. Everybody's a leader. Because you maybe dismiss that or disqualify yourself from it doesn't change the fact that God created us with that design and intention in mind, that we all have influence in some way. So you are a leader, and to be a good leader, I think our attitude has to start in a right place, and that comes from our heart condition. So we will dive more into that later on another time. But again, this is the inaugural episode. Welcome. You are going to be able to say you were one of the first to see my work in progress, because the audio, the video, the quality is like, I'm no Steven Spielberg for sure. The second point would be intent. So I think we can define that two different ways. Everybody says they have good intentions, let's say. Those things, that's it's great to have good intentions, but for the sake of this argument, we're going to talk about being intentional. So having the intent. If you have a purpose, are you pursuing that on purpose? So things don't just come to you in that regard. I mean, we live in a society and a generation that definitely expects things to come to them. Definitely information comes to us. Food even comes to us. Entertainment. So we can just sit back sometimes and let the world come to us. When we're talking about an intentional mindset, it requires us to step out. It requires us to be on purpose, not reactive, but proactive. And we hear that all the time in business. Coaches say that you've got to be proactive when it comes to your training, to your education, to your growth. This intent concept is, when we wake up every day, if our heart's right and our attitude's right, our intent should follow that. We should definitely be seeking those opportunities to impact people, to have influence, to show the love of Christ. Because let's be honest, our purpose really is to spread the gospel to as many people as we can and share the goodness of Jesus and what he's done for us. That's really, in a nutshell, what we're here for. There's a lot of other things that are great to experience in life, but at the end of the day, how many people can we influence, and will we see again in heaven is the big question. So intent. The third thing and the last thing is motivation. So why are we doing stuff? I've been in sales for 25 years. I have 4 children, a beautiful wife of 25 years. My motivation has been different throughout those years. In sales, motivation is oftentimes how lucrative is an opportunity? How much money can I make? Can we help people in the items that we sell, but still make a good living? That's a motivation. Motivation with children is planting good seeds so that your legacy follows behind you, so that when I'm gone, my heart left a good trail in those people that we've poured into, and those kids pour into their kids. So that's the motivation behind that. So the motivation in your everyday life with leadership, with influence, with impact, those things require a right motivation. Like, it can't be about you. And I learned that the hard way over the years. It's not about me. It's about servant leadership. It's about reaching out to people with something that God gifted you with that's unique, and using that to help somebody else. And you're going to hear that theme a lot throughout this video series, because it's not about us. If we're in it for just us and we have that inward focus, I promise the blessings are going to be limited. You're going to wake up every day wondering why you still have that hole or that void somewhere in your purpose, in your passion. Why am I not fulfilled? That's going to be a constant question you have, because I lived it. If you think beyond yourself, you will start to see what it looks like to have that godly peace, that godly contentment, that feeling every day that you've made a difference for someone else's benefit. So that's a lot to say, but keep in mind, this is going to be a faith-based video series. This is going to be intended to reach those people who are in leadership, who maybe have, faded from their faith, maybe drifted. Maybe it'll bring somebody back to focusing on the principles that were foundationally purposed over 2,000 years ago. And what I have to say is not unique to those foundations. Those have been around forever. But my experiences are unique. God gifted me in a unique way, not better, just uniquely, so that hopefully I can have an impact. And one thing I say to you will make a difference. So continue watching, and we'll see you next time.